your boy Roto Beast, and I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Thursday, January 31st. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the. Oh, shoot. Hey, Jay, you hear me?
Yo, yeah.
Oh, what up? My bad, man. I freaking got tongue tied. But hey,
Hit the subscribe button below so you can watch more videos, baby. Let's go. Let's get into it.
hey,
I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this Porzingis
what's
news,
going
bro.
on with you right now, bro? Hey, I'm like shocked about this trade that you just mentioned. Like I'm like my mind is like just thinking about that right now, bro. Hey. But anyways, hey man, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the site dfscheatsheet.com, man. Hey, we got all the tools, help you compete with the pros day in and day out, complete optimizer, tons of content. Hey man, everything. So come check out the site. Hey, come have some fun with us. We love getting on here daily and kind of just talking some daily NBA basketball. So yeah, man, let's just get into the trade, bro. I mean, what do you think about the trade, bro? Can you repeat the whole entire trade one more time just for anybody that hasn't heard about the trade?
So first thing first that I want to say is we're small in the game, so it doesn't right at this particular moment, so it doesn't matter. They won't see it. But I want to say big ups to Fantasy Labs for breaking the news on this. They're actually ahead of ESPN, and there's a reason why they're first. But congratulations for breaking your first biggest story. But Mark Cuban is a chief investor in Fantasy Labs, and that's probably how they got the goods on this trade. ESPN, it was funny because I was watching it, and ESPN reported that Porzingis had told management that he was concerned with the direction of the franchise. And then like 3 minutes later, Fantasy Labs tweeted out he was traded to the Mavs. So then ESPN, Wojciechowski tweeted that they were in talks to finalize it. And like 30 seconds after that, Fantasy Labs tweets out what the trade summary actually was. So they're way ahead of ESPN. ESPN, we all know, is the mothership, but that's why Fantasy Labs is able to break that news first. Let's get into the details of it. Porzingis to the Mavs. We were laughing yesterday because we were talking about Anthony Davis.
Crazy they traded Porzingis, so I'm like still like, damn.
So the Dallas Mavericks get Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Courtney Lee, Trey Burke, and then Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan, and Wesley Matthews go to the Knicks. That is very important tonight because you have to remove DeAndre Jordan, Dennis Smith Jr., and Wesley Matthews out of the Dallas Mavericks starting lineup. So that leaves them with two starters left, which is Harrison Barnes and Dorian Finney-Smith. Salah Marije, the guy's going to be an absolute chalk spot, I expect tonight, because he's going to be 3,500 and he's starting. But other guys to look at, obviously, Kleber. You wonder if Dirk Nowitzki is going to play 20 minutes tonight. Jalen Brunson at 3.7 and Devin Harris at 3.5. Those guys are the most probable guys to make impact tonight in the lineup with J.J. Barea out for the season. And then you have to wonder about a guy like Antetokounmpo, right? Is he going to play tonight? This guy's been an inactive player on the roster. I think they even sent him to the G League. You know, maybe he gets – it's going to be interesting to see who they roll out as a starting lineup. You know, you take a look at their bench, and they've got everybody at basically $3,700. So there's a bunch of value that's about to pop up because the rotation got really small, and they just lost 3 starters.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was just reading it right now. That's crazy. Hey, you know what I think is just so crazy is remember the Mavs, they've been wanting DeAndre Jordan for so long. He backed out last time. This time he came with them and they trade him away. Like that was always like, damn, like that.
I just read another tweet, and this is interesting. It says, in the past 7 months, the Mavericks have turned Trae Young and a 2019 protected first for Dennis Smith Jr., expiring contracts of DeAndre Jordan and Wes Matthews, to Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. That's Justin Fan of Fantasy Labs tweeting that. Give him the credit for that tweet. But that's crazy, man. They really – you look what they've got and what they did. That's give Mark Cuban a ton of credit, man, because –
bro, they got two superstars now. And like I feel like both of them.
Wait, that's not all they have, right? That's not all they have. If you think about what they have – they're going to get a trade exception. They're also they freed up so much cap space because they won't take the hit with the expiring contracts of Jordan and Wesley Matthews they just sent over to the Knicks. So they're going to have not only Doncic and Porzingis, but they're going to be a very, very attractive place for free agents this summer because they're going to have a ton of cap room to go and offer a couple of max contracts, I would assume.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's super crazy. Yeah, not the Mark Cuban, man. Hey, that dude's smart for sure, bro. Yeah,
so that's a big talk, man. It's kind of hard to get in to break the rest of the slate down because you don't, I mean, we can break these other games down, but let's be honest. Until you know who they plan on rolling out in their starting lineup tonight, there could potentially be 3 starters playing 25 plus minutes for Dallas that are $3,500. You know, you can Devin Harris is going to come off the bench at 3,500, so Brunson may start at 3,700. Kleiber's 3,900. He's the most expensive.
Hey, today is a definite stars and scrubs night. Let's just put it like that. Probably a little bit more of a GPP night.
This is a GPP night for sure.
And that's crazy, bro. So, anyways, hey, let's jump into this slate, man, and let's just talk about a little bit more game by game. We got that Dallas game coming up very soon. So, yeah, man, if you guys don't mind, real quick, before we do jump into this video, please take that quick second, click the like button for me down below. You know, I really appreciate that from you guys, and it helps me out. And yeah, so let's go, man. The first game that we're going to jump into, it's going to be the Indiana Pacers going into Orlando to face the Magic. This game has a 208 over-under. Orlando's favored by 3 in this one.
So, I mean, look, Darren Collison is 6,600. He's played decent. I don't mind it. But Edmund Sumner at 3,500 put up 20 fantasy points last night. I think he's a spot you can continue to look at. And there again, there's the narrative with the stars and scrubs. Miles Turner at 7.3. I don't mind Miles Turner. He just never played well against Vucevic. You know, you look at his game log and what he's done recently against Orlando, and it's not overwhelming for 7.3. And to be honest with you, I can't tell you who to play. I can just kind of give you guys a breakdown right now because I really think the slate is so dependent on what Dallas is going to roll out as far as value goes, because there are some definite pay-up spots, but there's not a spot here that value basically is what you're looking for. I actually had Collison in a couple of lineups that I had built out already because of 6.6, and it was looking like it was going to be kind of a balanced type build today. But, you know, that's kind of all changed because there's a ton of value that's opened up.
Yeah, man. And then on the Orlando side of things, I mean, there's a couple guys definitely I think you could consider. You know, these guys are probably all more GPP. You know, you got Vucevic, you got to start with him, their best player. The guy's been playing very, very well. 10.2. You know, I like the floor that he's giving you. He is giving you a really, really good floor. You know, as you can see, and you know, 4 of the past 5 games, he's got you at least 49 fantasy points. So the guy's just been playing very, very well. Get you some defensive stats. You know, and he's pretty much a double-double every night. I like Vucevic. I think that, you know, Miles Turner doesn't really scare me. Vucevic, I mean, he gets his. I mean, he's a really good big man, so he's a guy I like most. Aaron Gordon, the guy, you know, we know he's up and down, but he does have some upside, and this is a very good price tag for him. Definitely think he is in play for GPPs. Same thing with Evan Fournier. I mean, he's up and down, but their minutes are back. That's what I like about the Magic starters is the minutes are back for them. They're playing 30-plus minutes a game. Fournier, 5.6. Definitely think he has some upside. And one guy I don't want to leave out is Terrence Ross. I mean, this guy, they put him in the game and they say just shoot the ball. I mean, that's what he does. You know, he's playing, you know, 28 to 30 minutes a game off of the bench. And, you know, I was reading a stat earlier and said that, you know, he's shot at least 14 shots in every single game. So that's what you want for people to come in and just be shooting. A lot of them are threes if he knocks a couple down. I like Terrence Ross. I like his upside. He's getting that 30 minutes a game as well. But that's really where I'm at for the Magic.
Here we go.
Okay, man. Hey, so we got Dallas. Hey, I don't even know. I don't know if we can if this Vegas line is updated or not, but we'll just kind of go with it. The Mavericks going into Detroit to face the Pistons. 207 over under. Detroit's favored by 6 in this one.
Yeah, this line's not updated because the trade obviously has to be finalized by the league office, but these guys will not play tonight, and that's DeAndre Jordan, Dennis Smith Jr., and Wesley Matthews. So projected for me with the starting lineup, you'll get Harrison Barnes, Dorian Finney-Smith, Salah Mercy will start at center most likely. He's the only other center they really got. I can't see him starting Dwight Powell there. But Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, Devin Harris.
Real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jay. My bad. Hey, it's cool though that we got these that it's updated and showing who's going to be in right there.
Oh, did it? I didn't refresh it.
Yeah, the starting lineups. It's showing all the cheap guys in there as starters.
Let me refresh that real quick.
Like it has Dwight Powell 3.6, Brunson 3.7.
Let me tell you something, bro. We have legit data. All right,
Yeah.
we've got legit data.
I'll tell you something. The guy that I like, if he's going to play 25 to 30 minutes, is Dwight Powell a lot.
If Dwight Powell's going to get that many, if Dwight Powell's going to start, obviously we're projecting him now to start at center, and that's got to be off some news that is in our data feed that we haven't looked at yet because we're doing this video. But I still like Merge a lot.
Hey, bro, I think Powell's a lock today, bro.
Dwight Powell, absolutely starting 3.6. The problem is though is that you have to look at the other two guys, to be honest with you, because it's a guy who's playing 13.8 minutes over his last 5 games with probably a high of 18 if I pop his player card open and take a look. Let me see. But you're going against the front court of DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, and okay, so 19 was his 20 minutes. Okay, yeah, that's what he plays. He's a high energy guy. We know that. Devin Harris looks like he's going to start at the shooting guard. Jalen Brunson will start at the point guard. Devin Harris is a guy that I would actually prefer in this game over everybody else. I think Devin Harris probably is the best upside play because of the ability to handle the basketball. And with a more passive player like a Jalen Brunson, I look for Devin Harris to probably handle the basketball a little bit more, have a little higher usage. He is a good 3-point shooter. He is explosive. The guy can get you steals and play defense. With him, it's always been about one thing: minutes. He's been a really good value play throughout the last 2 years. Anytime that JJ Barea has been out, or you take a look at other guys that they've had a point guard position for them over the last couple of years. Anytime those guys were out, a Devin Harris was a really good play. So he's a guy that I think, a veteran guy that's going to step into a role tonight, get extended minutes, familiar with the NBA and how it works. Jalen Brunson, a more passive guy. I could see the short leash on this guy. I just can. They clearly don't think they traded Dennis Smith Jr. because Jalen Brunson's their future point guard. But look, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be other guys here that you can play tonight. I guarantee you. Merge is a guy you can play. Kleiber, definitely a guy you can play. I might prefer Kleiber over Dwight Powell just a little bit right now. Just me with my experience and how much I've researched Dallas and kind of how they move. But look, all these guys are in play tonight because take a look at guys that are actually getting minutes. You've got Powell, Brunson, Harris, Barnes, Smith going to start. Okay, Merge doesn't actually get minutes, but Kleiber actually does. That's 6 guys. So they've got 6 guys on their current roster tonight that are actually getting minutes. That rotation is going to be really small, and it's going to open up the opportunity for some other guys to get a little bit of run. This game is going to have a very good chance to blow out. And even if it does, it's not going to matter on the Dallas side. It's going to impact the Detroit side a lot more than it'll impact the Dallas side because they don't have a lot of guys that actually got experience.
Yeah, man. I think
one other thing is Doncic is doubtful. That's why I'm not talking about him, and that's why we don't have him projected. They've already said he's doubtful to play today. So, I'm not mentioning Doncic for that reason.
Yeah, man. For me, I think right now my favorite 2 plays are Powell and Brunson because those are guys that are already in the rotation getting minutes. And, like you said, Powell was getting 18 to 20 minutes. So now without the other guys –
we've seen it, though. Hey, I don't want to cut you off, but we've seen it with Boston, right? And granted, these guys aren't the Boston Celtics, but we've seen it. Last night was a good example where you stacked up. Rozier gets 46, Jaylen Brown gets 40, Al Horford gets 46, Marcus Morris gets 34. So you could definitely stack these and that's my point. I don't care if a game's going to blow out. I don't care if a game's got a big spread. You have to look at the rotation, how many guys are actually going to play. I think they've got 7 guys tonight that could actually play. Maybe 8 if they want to bring. I just see we've updated Antetokounmpo to a bench player now, and he's no longer an inactive player. So I haven't seen if there's news. It's actually they've moved him or whatever they've done, but he's now an active player. So look, you could stack 4 value plays as your scrubs, and all get 25 plus minutes tonight, and then load up the rest of your spot. You could just do that tonight, guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, on the Detroit side of things, I just really like 3 guys.
This was going to be a crush spot for freaking Drummond tonight too.
Yeah, so that's a guy that I was actually already looking at was Drummond, and then now you get this kind of news. I definitely think Drummond can have a really really good game here. 92 You got Blake 9,300. I think both of these guys could have really, really good games. For cash, I think I probably would go Drummond. I think Blake is probably a little bit more of a GPP play for me. But I do really like both those guys. And I like Reggie Jackson. 5,400. The guy's playing close to 40 minutes a game. He has a little bit of upside. He hasn't really been showing it, but he does. And the price tag's fair. We need about 26, 27 for value. He's going to be going against a bunch of young guys on the Mavericks. Definitely think he can, have a solid game as well. But that's really where I'm at for the Pistons.
Yeah, it's hard. This is a hard spot, bro. It's a tough spot.
Hey, man, this next game, we're going to want to get some kind of piece from this game. And I think we're probably going to want Antetokounmpo, to be honest. You got Milwaukee Bucks going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 233 over-under, and Toronto's favored by 3 in this one.
Here it is, man. 39 minutes, 43 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, 66.6 fantasy points just last week or 2 weeks ago on the 5th of January. And then you look back, they played in December, 37 minutes, 19 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists, 50 fantasy points, 11-5, very fair price tag in this spot. The Bucks a very underrated team here. I'm going to tell you also I like Middleton a lot tonight. This is a Chris Middleton type game for me, and I just think the guy's very underpriced. I think he's a $7,400 player, and I think that this is a really good opportunity for Chris Middleton to play well without Kawhi Leonard being, having to worry about Kawhi Leonard. I could see Danny Green possibly all over Malcolm Brogdon, Kawhi Leonard on Giannis. Giannis is just a mismatch, and he can make, that's why he's played well. You can make Kawhi uncomfortable in the post, etc., where he's bigger than Kawhi. The rebound thing is what sticks out to me with Giannis. That's who the Raptors are. The Raptors, they give it up to power forwards. It's their one weakness. Power forwards have been the spot. You could take a look back to Marvin Bagley, Thaddeus Young. Recently, they had monster games against Toronto. So Giannis does occupy the power forward spot for them. I know he's a small forward on Fanduel, but he does occupy the power forward spot for them. So, Middleton's a guy that I think could go underlooked. Bledsoe will match up against Lowry. Lopez will do his thing from the perimeter. But to me, it's the two guys, Giannis and Middleton. I like Middleton a lot tonight.
Yeah, man, I think Middleton is definitely in play. Very, very good price tag. I'm a Middleton fan for sure. On the Raptors side of things, I pretty much like their starting 5, except for Danny Green. I think you could use him as a GPP play, but I think both of the big guys, Ibaka, Siakam, both of them give you solid floors. They're getting solid run right now. Valanciunas is still out. And, these guys, Brook Lopez is one of those guys who likes to stand on the 3-point line and pull kind of guys out. And, I think that, Siakam, Ibaka, those guys are very athletic. I definitely think that they can, I think both of them could really, really shut down Brook Lopez. Not worried about him. Who do you think is going to guard Antetokounmpo? Because one of the two are. Which one do you think is going to guard Antetokounmpo?
Kawhi. They're going to go back and forth just like they've done the last 2 times they've played. Kawhi, let's look at Kawhi. Kawhi, to me, I could see stacking these two guys tonight. I could see stacking Giannis and Kawhi because Kawhi's gotten 50 the last 2 times they played this season, and Giannis has gotten 66 and 55. I could see stacking these two guys up. Both of them, 5X at 10.1, very fair. Giannis, if he can get you 60, 11.5, that's very fair.
So you don't think – Giannis starts at the power forward. You don't think that Siakam will be guarding Antetokounmpo? Siakam's pretty athletic. Because you know what I mean? Because
I don't think anybody guards Giannis. And what I mean by that is he moves around so much that it's not, maybe on the offensive end, yeah, he's going to get picked up by somebody. I get that. On the defensive side of things, he kind of freelances and gets in the paint. And it's not like he's boxed out by the guy he's guarding or he's fighting with a guy that he's defending, right? Yeah. And offensively, he handles the basketball so much, and they do a lot of pick and roll stuff. They run off high screens, they run off the low screen, so they cut very well. I just don't know. He's not really guardable. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like he's picked up in defense. There's a lot of switches and mismatches and stuff like that they create offensively with cuts and down screens and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying completely. Yeah, so I mean, for me, like I said, I like Ibaka, I like Siakam. I think both of them give you a really good floor. They play their minutes for sure. Kyle Lowry, 8,000. I think he's a very interesting play. Big time game. I think that's a very fair price tag for Lowry. You need 40 for him to hit value. Kawhi, 10.1. I think he's in play. I think he's going to definitely, get up for this game. And I'm with you. I think that, putting both of them guys as your small forward spots with all the value, I definitely think that gives you a solid floor. I like that idea. And then, the last guy I'll quickly mention outside of those four guys is just, Fred VanVleet. He's a guy they like to get this guy minutes, and they figure out ways to get this guy minutes. 4,500. He's a guy who's going to play 28 to 30 minutes in this game. First guy off the bench. So that's really where I'm at, man, with Toronto. But, hey, this game is going to be a really good game to watch for sure.
It is. It is. I'm going to say one quick thing. Ibaka has gotten 40 fantasy points both times they've played this year. So Ibaka, that kind of backs up the Brook Lopez thing we always talk about. I mean, 40 fantasy points for Ibaka back-to-back games, kind of the same type of game.
Yeah, no, for sure. They definitely makes sense for sure. Moving on to the next game. Next game we're going to go with, it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets going into San Antonio to face the Spurs. This game has a 227.5 over-under, and San Antonio is favored by 8 in this one.
So I'm just going to talk about two guys. It's going to be D'Angelo Russell at 8.8. He's in play. Just because of the amount of volume he's got. The problem with Russell, though, is that his minutes are getting eaten up by Shabazz Napier. And Napier's playing really well, man. Napier's playing really well. I think Napier's probably the best play on this team. I know that, that he comes in but off the bench. But, look, he comes in usually at the 8-minute mark, like I mentioned yesterday, and he plays, 8 minutes of the first quarter, 4 of them without Russell and then 4 of them with Russell. And it's really freed up Napier and Russell a little bit. I just don't like that Russell's minutes kind of get dipped into by Napier. But those are the only two guys really for me that are worth mentioning. I mean, I'm not Travion Graham. You got too many guys at 3.5 today to worry about Travion Graham, who are going to handle the basketball. Karukas is an interesting play at 3.7. He matches up well. He comes up high in my models as far as defensive rating and DVP go. But that's really it, man.
Yeah, man. On the Spurs, so it's DeMar DeRozan is expected back today. So I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, we do like big guys going against the Nets, and I think this is the spot that Aldridge can crush. But for me, he's strictly GPP at a 9.6 price tag. I mean, you need almost 47 just for him to hit value, and that's a big number, especially with DeRozan coming back. I mean, he's been on a run, but DeRozan's been out. He's been the main guy. Now with DeRozan back, it's going to take away some usage from Aldridge. I don't want to pay this price tag. Forbes is an interesting guy, 4,100. You need only 20, 21 for value, and he plays 30 minutes a game. He could get hot. The upside is not crazy on him. I think he can get you 30. That's probably his ceiling. I think he's in play. Rudy Gay as well, 6,300. I think it's a fair price tag if he's going to get close to 30 minutes a game. Then you gotta like him, man. Rudy Gay is a guy that he's a baller, man, and he plays well. He does a little bit of everything. His problem is just he always gets hurt. So right now he's playing well. I think he's in play. And then you got DeMar DeRozan, 8,000. I think that's a very fair price tag for DeMar DeRozan.
Bare minimum right there. That's bare minimum for DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a game time decision. Like I said, they're saying that he is going to probably play today. He'll be back on the floor. Yeah, probable to play. So I mean, if we gotta see if we hear anything about like he's on a minutes limit or if he's gonna play his regular minutes. I think that's a big thing. If to say he's gonna play his regular 32 to 34 minutes, somewhere around there is what he usually plays, then hey, I definitely think he is in play at this fair price tag. We just got to see if he's on a minutes limit or whatnot. Outside of that, I mean, I'm not really interested in anybody else. For the Spurs, no reason to really go with the cheap guys. We talked about pretty much any cheap guy you want. You got to really go with those Dallas kind of guys on this slate. That's really how it's going to be. So I think Aldridge, strictly GPP, a little bit of Forbes, Gay, and DeRozan.
And moving on.
The game should be pretty fun. The next 2 games should be fun. You have the Los Angeles Lakers, I was going to say going into LA at home against the Los Angeles Clippers in the rivalry game. 229.5 over under, and the Clippers is favored by 3.5 in this one.
So I expect this to move. Let me say this. I expected what I'm about to say to move, and now I'm not sure with the trade news. And what that is I looked at our projected ownership numbers this morning, and there wasn't one Laker that we have projected at more than 1% owned today. The Lakers were projected very low ownership on the slate because of the other game. Obviously, there's other action that's more intriguing with Milwaukee, Toronto, Philadelphia, Golden State, Brooklyn. There's more interesting stuff, and then there's a Clipper side of it with Patrick Beverly, and all of that. So they weren't projected very high. The Lakers, I think, are a spot to get lower owned plays tonight. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Rajon Rondo, Kyle Kuzma is kind of the factor here for me. If Kuzma is back, which he did participate in shoot around and practice yesterday, so I fully expect Kuzma to play today. I think he's so fair price at 6.2. That's going to free up Rajon Rondo, and it's also going to free up Brandon Ingram. Rondo's going to get more assists today than he's gotten with Kuzma out. That's just going to happen because Rondo was affected by Ingram handling the basketball. And his usage was very high with Kuzma out. I expect it to kind of reset today. I also expect to see, without a true center over here for the Clippers, I expect to see Zubac get more run than he got. So I think all five of these guys are in play, and I'll kind of leave it at that. And McGee could be in play as far as tournaments go. If you want to take a shot at tournaments with McGee, that's fine too. But look, I love the Lakers tonight. I think this game is going to be overshadowed by so many different other factors, especially Philadelphia and Golden State, and Milwaukee and Toronto, the two TV games. This game is going to get overshadowed, and the Lakers are going to get overshadowed by the Clippers.
Yeah, no, I get you. I like the Clippers a lot in this game as well. Some news we're waiting on is Avery Bradley. He's a game time decision right now. If Avery Bradley's out, then that I honestly think that you really gotta just put Lou Williams in your lineup and just kind of move on. 7.3, a little bit of a revenge game. Lakers traded him. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I like Lou Williams, man. This is an up and down game, a high scoring game. I think it really fits him. And then I like Tobias Harris as well. Tobias Harris has been playing very, very well. He went through a little bit of a rough stretch, a couple of weeks where he wasn't playing well, but he's really been picking it back up. 8.1, I think, is a fair price. I think he gives you a solid floor in an up-tempo game. And then you got to look at Harrell, 7.2. I mean, I like Harrell. This guy has some upside. The only thing that frustrates me with him is that his minutes fluctuate. Sometimes he gets the 32, the 29 to 32, and then sometimes he gets the 24 to 26. And, if he's going to play right around 30 minutes in this game, this is his kind of game. Like I said, I think this is just going to be a track meet, just back and forth kind of game, really, really high scoring. I was surprised that this game wasn't the highest implied total on the slate. I like a lot of the Clippers. Like I said, Beverly, I don't know what to say about Beverly because his price jumped so much. 6,000. I definitely think if Bradley's out, Beverly's going to play a ton of minutes and he'll be able to kind of pay off that price tag. But I just don't know where the upside is in that price. But I think, my favorite guys to play on the Clippers is going to be Harris, Harrell, and I like Lou Williams whether Avery Bradley is out or not. But if Bradley's out, I like Lou Williams. I think you put him in your cash games and you kind of move on. One guy that'll also get a little bit of a boost will be Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he'll get a couple extra minutes if Bradley's ruled out. So I think that's something that we kind of wait on a little bit closer to lock. We should get some news on that. Did I miss anybody?
No, but the only thing that I would say in addition to what you said is if Lou Williams is going to start, then I agree with you. I love Lou Williams today no matter what, but I think Beverly's the guy who gets the biggest boost if Bradley's out. And you talked about where's that upside going to come from. I think it's in a couple of additional shots they'll actually get unless Lou Williams does start. If Lou Williams starts, then I think that you can just fade Beverly today because of the value with Brunson and Devin Harris. You could pay up for one of those and get maybe Steph Curry or Rondo or mid-tier play, something like that.
Right. No, for sure. You can pretty much get anybody you want in your lineup today is what it's going to come down to. Moving on to the final game of the night. Should be a pretty good game as well. You got the Philadelphia 76ers going into Golden State to face the Warriors. This game has a 241.5 over under, which is by far the highest on the slate. And the Warriors the Warriors are favored by 9.5 in this one.
If you're gonna play a bunch of tournament lineups tonight, do yourself a favor and stack the Warriors with Dallas. Just do it a couple of times because they're projected to score 125 points. The spread is 9. Okay, if this game, this could be a 140, 120 game. It really could. It just could. If Wilson Chandler and JJ Redick get hot and that spaces the floor for Jimmy Butler, then Jimmy Butler's mid-range game that could get hot. We've seen Jimmy Butler get to the basket. The way they're passing the basketball right now, the 76ers that is, they're creating a lot and they're running the floor. I mean, if you watch the Laker game, they created so many turnovers and ran the floor so well. It got out to such a big lead in the first quarter. It was insurmountable for the Lakers. But they're playing at a high level. The most interesting thing about this game to me is I can't wait to watch Boogie Cousins and Joel Embiid go at each other. Boogie Cousins is much stronger and he's a thicker body than Joel Embiid is. I'm just curious to see how this is going to play out. Boogie obviously coming back from the ACL injury. His mobility, his game legs. It's one thing to run in the gym or go run around the track, but it's a whole different thing when you get in game shape. So we've seen Boogie now get some games under his belt. That's the intriguing matchup to me. I'm actually favoring Boogie at 7.5 over Embiid at 11.6. I think Simmons is a guy that kind of this game favors a little bit more. I think it favors Ben Simmons' game a little bit more than it does Embiid's. Draymond and DeMarcus, you got Embiid down there. And look, Embiid, we know Embiid's a gamer, but can he pay off 11.6 in this environment with those two big guys? That's my question.
All right, bro. Plain simple, all right? Not a cop-out, but hey, you could play every single Warrior. They're all a starter. They're all fair price. None of them are really overpriced. I mean, what else you want me to say about the Warriors? You could throw in a little bit of Looney.
Right. Throw in a little bit of Looney.
Hey, I'm not, like I said, not a cop-out. I mean, that's really what it is,
Yeah.
Hey, and one more thing. So the guy, I was reading something real quick. So I found this little meme where it says, all right, the Knicks are being the Knicks again. They really just traded their generation talent, Porzingis, essentially for Dennis Smith Jr., who's having an underwhelming sophomore season as it is.
I mean, what's Dennis Smith Jr. done? They've been trying to trade him for a long time. We just talked about him and his trade value yesterday, and we said they're obviously going to play the guy because they haven't found any suitors for, there's no market for him. Well, obviously, Dallas played in New York last night. The two executives must have got together, and they must have said, look, we got a deal ironed out. You want to get Porzingis? We want Porzingis, whatever it is, because they executed this afternoon, and it's a done deal. He's gone. So whatever they did, look, the Knicks acquired a bunch of stuff, and they also acquired expiring contracts as well. So they both – I think this trade worked out well for both teams. I think both teams put themselves in a position to not only have a good summer, but I think the Knicks, one last thing they've got to do is get rid of Cancer. Get rid of Enes Kanter, take a draft pick, take a player who's going to fill out your bench. You're not – the one thing I don't understand about these NBA teams, bro, and maybe that's just because and I hate to call people a nerd or a geek or whatever, but when you have people that got a master's degree and they have no real world experience and they sit in a room and look at numbers, and that's where analytics is gone, and that they want to coach. Look at Mark Jackson with the Warriors. The main reason the Warriors fired Mark Jackson was because he did not want to buy into analytics, so they got rid of him, right? Well, it's worked out for him. Okay, fine, with Steve Kerr. But my point is that you can't coach and you can't build on paper. You have to get – what's the old saying? X's and O's are for coaches, but the game's played by real-life Joes, right? So I just don't understand what some of these executives do when they make these moves. I just don't understand how you could be the New York Knicks, how you can have all this talent come in and out, and every single year they're constantly trading pieces away. Look at Julius Randle. All last year we said, dude, trade him or play him, one of the two, because all you're doing is diminishing his value. They lost him for nothing. So now you've got the same situation with Enes Kanter. They're just punishing the guy, letting the fans yell, Enes, Enes, Enes. Watch the guy go kiss the freaking floor at Madison Square Garden. Like, it's a spectacle. trade the guy or play the guy, but you're not doing anything to create any value. That makes zero sense. Showcase the guy, get his value up, and then move him. Now you're going to hold on to him because there's no market for him. I just don't understand what the line of thinking is with that.
Yeah. Hey, bro, one more thing. So something just came out, bro. This is fucking nuts, bro. The Lakers offered Ball, Ingram, Kuzma, and Zubac in a first-round pick for Anthony Davis, bro.
What's the source on that? Where'd that come from?
Fuck, where did I see? I see that in 2 different places today. But that, bro, if that's true though, well, that is like a lot.
The official news I've seen all day is the Lakers haven't offered anything because the Pelicans haven't picked up the phone. They won't answer the calls.
No, because I think I seen on ESPN earlier that they said that they finally are in active talks or something like that. Like an hour ago, maybe, right before we did our video.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean, the last hour I haven't seen any news at all. But that's the last I heard was that I just pulled up something now that says they've made five different offers for him.
Oh, okay. Hey, man, dude, I want to get him, man. But anyways, hey, thanks guys for checking out this video. Hey, it was a lot of fun today. Me and Jeremy will be back later with our NBA live segment an hour before lock, kind of breaking down any final news that came out and answering questions. So feel free to tune in. That is 3 p.m. Pacific time. But hey, if we don't talk to you guys before then, and make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. If you want to play the lineups that we're playing every single night, if you want to run the optimizer for 150 lineups, or you want to just go check out our articles and some other videos that we got. Hey, we got it all on the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, good luck on your contest tonight if I don't talk to you before then. And hey, man, peace out, fellas. Later.